that don't bother me. No, I'm not bothered if you call the doofus.
That was, of course, the hauntingly beautiful blues ballad, I Might Be a Doofus, performed by our very own music director extraordinaire, Oswald Herring, in the key of A minor. I'm Winston Watley, and you're listening to the Doofus Line, with your most excellent host, J. Howard Hooks. This week on the Doofus Line, J. Howard will, of course, be taking your calls while interviewing world-renowned physicist and author Titus Tutley from the University of Cornwall. Professor Tutley's latest work, entitled Black Holes, Why You Would Want to Keep Your Car Away from Them, is currently a bestseller. The Doofus Line is brought to you this week by the prestigious law practices of Fleabit, Kerr, and Hound. Fleabit, Kerr, and Hound, serving mid-America since 1985. When you need a tough lawyer in your corner, call Fleabit, Kerr, and Hound. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the host of the Doofus Line, J. Howard Hooks.
Well, thank you, Winston. I just can't begin to tell you how thrilled I am to have Professor Tutley in the studio today. And as soon as he gets out of the restroom, we're just going to interview the heck out of him. While we're waiting, though, I was wanting to say a little something about an email letter I got this week from a little 4th grade girl in Springdale, Arkansas. I'll just read you the letter here. It says, Dear Mr. Hooks, my name is Amy, and I am in Miss Bowman's class in the 4th grade. I am writing you this letter because my neighbor, Darrell, who is in the 7th grade, has some rabbits in his backyard that are in cages. My friend Susan and I went to see the rabbits last Friday, and Darrell was there, and he told us that one of the rabbits was the Easter Bunny. And then he said if we told anybody about him having the Easter Bunny, that he was going to cook him alive on his parents' new George Foreman electric indoor grill. Darrell also said that Susan and I would have to give him our lunch money every day, or he might go ahead and use the George Foreman grill on the Easter Bunny anyway. Mr. Hooks, I am too afraid to tell my parents what happened. Can you please help me? And the letter is then signed Amy. Well, Amy, I just want to say right off that I think you are a brave young lady to come forward like this. I do, however, think that you need to consider the possibility that your neighbor Darrell is just perpetrating a sinister and cruel hoax on you. Also, he can try to scam you and your friend Susan out of your lunch money. I did, however, have Winston here at the Doofus Line call the FBI to find out if possibly the Easter Bunny had gone missing. Well, they informed him that they had it from a very reliable source, that the Easter Bunny was in Vegas all this week playing the slots with the Tooth Fairy. So I'm going to have to advise you to just go ahead and call Darrell's bluff on this whole thing, and I wouldn't fork up one bit of your lunch money, no matter what he does. And if by some strange chance he actually does have the Easter Bunny, and he ends up frying him on the George Foreman grill, then that's just gonna have to be something we live with. We as American people are gonna have to learn that we can't give in to terrorist demands. So, anyway, that's my advice. What's that I hear? Is that? Yeah? Sounds like that might be Tutley coming in. Yeah, it is. Here he comes. Well, Have a seat there, Professor. There you go. As I said before, while you were in on the pod, it certainly is thrilling to have you in the studio, Professor. It isn't very often that the average guy gets to chew the fat with a truly great scientific mind.
Well, thank you, Howard. It certainly is a pleasure, and I consider it an honor for me to be here as well. It's the rare occasion that we in the scientific community are afforded a venue such as this to discuss some of the really exciting issues in physics today.
Well, Professor, if you wouldn't mind to start things off, I'd kind of like to talk about the title of your book for just a minute, because I had a question right off the bat. Your book's titled Black Holes, Why You Would Want to Keep Your Car Away from Them. Now, as I understand it, and correct me if I am wrong, but a black hole is out in space somewhere. And as far as I know, there aren't even any four-wheel drive monster trucks that can drive in space, let alone a car. Which reminds me, did you ever see Bigfoot?
Pardon me, Howard?
Bigfoot.
I don't believe...
You didn't see Bigfoot, the monster truck?
No, I don't think I have.
Well, anyway, what I'm trying to say here is, if there aren't any cars or trucks that can drive in space, why would a person want to be worrying about hitting a black hole?
Well, Howard, I guess you've got me there. However, when I was formulating the title of my book, I was thinking more or less of using the word car as somewhat of a metaphor for any type of physical matter, because basically what we've come to learn about black holes leads us to believe that any form of matter, whether it were a car or a spaceship or whatever, if it were to come into contact with a black hole, it would be drawn into it and then completely destroyed.
Well, that certainly is a cheery thought. I'm not sure I even want to think about that. Let me ask you this, Professor. Is there any topic in physics today that you think is of such vital importance that we really need to discuss it here on the show, and then we could start taking some phone calls from some of our listeners?
Well, that is an excellent question, Howard. I would have to say that, in my opinion,